Welcome to another episode of the Hyperformance podcast, everyone. It's Good Friday, so happy Easter. I think even though you're going to be listening to this one next Thursday. Anyway, whatever. I don't care about dating the shit out of the episode. I'm joined as usual by my co-hosts, Jacob and Harvey. Boys, what's going on?
Not a whole lot, man. It is a Good Friday indeed.
Great weather. Both in Wollongong and Melbourne.
Yeah, it is a fucking stunning day today. Dude. I actually just I'm in a bit of a daze, my post-swim glory. Went for a great swim after a morning workout. But yeah, it was beautiful at the beach. Water's just absolutely perfect. Not that we're not that deep into autumn, but yeah, it's just such good weather this time of year here in Oz.
Oh man, I went for a swim the other day as well, and it was exactly the same. I was like, and I've said it for ages, this is my favorite time of year in, Sydney/Gold. And same deal, just like the water is fucking perfect.
I don't know if it's Melbourne as well as all the other states, but I feel like our summer just gets copy pasted over just a month, and the weather starts to really heat up in
it's
autumn.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
Yeah, I just feel like that would suck for Melbourne, but yeah, weather's sick. Might head down to the beach too.
No, I noticed a similar trend here because I have distinct memories of when I was in uni, for example, and we were getting nice swimming water around here, in October and stuff like that. Whereas now it really doesn't warm up until mid-December.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's not a fucking podcast about the weather, is it? Yeah. Let's get into this run sheet. Let's rip and tear through it because it was a really exciting week in Australia or global sport as usual, but then particularly in Australian sport, there are a couple of milestone events. I've got to talk about the Perth seminar. So I was in Perth all last week. I love going to Perth because I've got heaps of work friends there. One of my first ever online clients is there. I've got a couple of online clients there. It was great to train with them in real life. There's a bunch of people who've been through the mentorship and who also came to the last seminar. So it was always great to see them and catch up with them as well. So yeah, it was really awesome in the sense that the going to Perth and doing the seminar really filled my cup. But now I also have a break from all that stuff, which I've been open about how that stuff causes me a little bit of stress, just because I'm not an organized person, and having to organize seminars pushes the limits of my capability in that area. So excited now just to have some downtime to just hang at home, not be traveling all the time, and just get into routine with the daily runnings of the business, but then working on the next two products that I want to be bringing out that really is just, putting the star atop the Christmas tree that is my business. That was a terrible fucking metaphor, but it's what I pulled out of my ass on the fly.
No, I liked it.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
I liked it. So I think in the last episode, Gus, you said that you were particularly excited for the cohort that was coming to the Perth seminar. Did they bring the goods?
Yeah, just because it was such a friendly and familiar audience. I get a bit nervous before seminars, whereas I basically was pretty familiar with 3/4 of the crowd, had done a seminar to at least half of them before, or at least a third of them had been through my mentorship. So in that regards, it was a really familiar crowd. And yeah, I love that aspect of it. I think one of the insecurities I could have about my business and my products is that once people have sort of bought an educational product and then just moved on with their life, and heaps of people have done, and I appreciate anyone who's interacted with my business in any way or even just followed the content, but it's really fulfilling seeing people continue to come back and that I'm able to keep sort of leveling up with them. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, sick.
How was the time in between the days? Did you get up to anything fun or just sort of have a quiet one?
Actually, yeah, I was so sleep deprived, honestly. I think I've forgotten a lot of what happened in Perth because I keep booking these 7 a.m. flights out of Sydney. I did it to Melbourne as well when me and Keen flew down there the other week. So if I book a 7 a.m. flight out of Sydney Airport, I have to catch the 3:30 train from Thirroul to get to the airport. And I'm a bit of a night owl, so I struggle to get to bed before 11 p.m. or midnight. So in bed at midnight after a long day of work, 3 hours sleep, and then had to catch a train up to Sydney. Someone jumped in front of one of the trains that was on the way to the airport. So then
Oh,
had to end
geez.
up got booted off that at like 4:30 in the morning. Had to Uber it the rest of the way. There was a bit of fucking traffic. Nearly missed my flight. I was charging through the fucking airport though, and guess who I saw? Anyone who's been paying attention on Instagram has already seen the spoiler, but ran into Anthony the Man Mundine. So that was hectic. That definitely perked me up a bit.
Is he coming on the pod?
Oh, I didn't want to put it on him for a
Surely
pod
should have done
because
that outreach.
honestly, just because of his reputation, I was a little bit nervous about approaching it, but I was just like, oh, fuck it. Like, you know, I just want to show my appreciation for the man. So I was just like, the man. And he looked over. He looked like he smiled straight away. So I just went up and shook his hand, and yeah, he really leaned. He just seemed, he was much more stoked about it than I thought he would. I really thought he'd be like, get the fuck away from it. Like, he's been hassled by people his whole life. But yeah, I felt really embraced by him, and yeah, really was
right on.
happy to get a photo with him. And yeah, I'll remember that moment forever. So for international listeners, the way I explain Anthony Mundine is the Aussie Bo Jackson. Like, not quite the same, but is in multi-sport athlete and succeeded at the highest level in both of them. Was a really, really good rugby league player, and then had a really solid boxing career. And was a controversial figure, but like outspoken figure for Indigenous rights in Australia. And yeah, got a lot of respect for him.
Totally. Do you reckon he'd fight Jacob?
Maybe
Fight me.
Raise enough revenue.
Yeah, you've been doing MMA.
Yeah, let's do it.
I was feeling like we could.
Yeah,
we could
it's
No.
a bit of an Australian
MMA
version of
wouldn't
Jake
be a
Paul and
fair
Mike
fight.
Tyson. Yeah.
But anyway, flew into Perth, and then just was like laid there like a zombie on the beach for a couple of hours till I could check into my comm, and then drove like an hour south of Perth to train with my client Dylan. Second time training with him in real life, but that was really exciting. And then the next day, just went to check out the seminar venue. Trained with the boys in the afternoon, and then just ripped and teared through 2 days worth of seminar. And yeah, and then caught an all-nighter. So flew out at 11 p.m. in Perth, and because there's a 3-hour time difference, got back 6 a.m. Monday. So then that absolutely fucked me. So I kind of got like jet lagged both ways in my own country. Like, I know I sound like a massive, these are the things that happen to me. No, so it was a fucking sick trip. I just would have liked to have a bit more sleep going into it, and then I could have really, really maxed out the enjoyment. But I if I'm honest, I felt like I was in fight or flight mode the whole time.
Geez. So did you go out much in between the seminars, or you just kept it quiet to save the energy?
We went out for our beer and dinner on the first night, and then I had a few beers, and then had like 1 or 2 3 or 4 beers after the seminar with a couple of the people who came out. So that was really fun. We had time before flying out, but then I had to update everyone's programs and shit like that. And
the Sunday scaries.
Definitely not an optimized start to the week.
No. Yeah, it's funny. I actually rang Gus at one point, just very quickly, about something completely unrelated, and just got like this very like rushed sounding, just like, hello, what is happening?
I was in JB Hi-Fi getting a HDMI cord before the seminar because I realized I forgot mine. It was like just another thing I didn't need.
Yeah.
I was so, thank God there were JB Hi-Fis littered around the seminar venue.
Yeah, I was fully just like, I was like, are you okay? And he's just like, yep, buying a cable in fight or flight mode. What's happening?
Man was locked in.
Totally. And I was like, this is such a banal conversation. Don't worry, do your thing. I'll talk to you later. But it was hectic.
No, I was proud. I was proud of doing a good job at the seminar. I didn't let the stress get to me. I focused and I locked in, Davis Clark style.
Totally. Gus, when you inevitably run for, not for Parliament, but what do you call it? When you run to be like a local, you should make it one of your objectives to get Albion Park Airport more functional, because how much fucking easier would that make your life?
Yeah, true. Wow.
Is that like a Wollongong?
I mean, I think there was some Wollongong people who were a little bit surprised when they announced the big airport going out in Western Sydney, which is definitely the place to put it. But I think a lot of people were like, oh, you could have just upgraded Wollongong Airport. But then again, how long does it take to get down to Albion Park?
It's like if you're driving, it's like 40, 45. Now they've got that the bypass as well. You don't really get caught in hectic traffic in Albion Park anymore.
I need
You
a
and
car.
Volk band together and just come up with a campaign, and that's it. You'll get the vote.
Well, I think Volk actually flies out of there semi-regularly. When he's going domestic, he goes domestic private. So a lot of domestic private, I think, can go out of Albion Park or all the really rich people in Windang.
Is Windang north or south of the Gong?
South. So it's Volk, his team, and then the guy who owned Computer Town Australia flying private domestic out of Albion Park Airport.
Yeah, fucking hockey dad love
that
it.
joke's going to make like 2 people laugh, and one of them's my brother.
That's it.
But yeah, it needs to fucking happen. Yeah, it is crazy. I think they fly some regional shit out of there. Like, they just don't do any of the major airlines. But the thing that got me about it is Newcastle has a fully functional airport.
Yeah.
What?
It's insane
how
how many airports there are in this country. I mean, it makes sense when you see the size of the joint, but it's weird because, again, traveling around other countries, it does hit you. It's like, a lot of countries don't have domestic airports because you catch a fucking 1-hour train and you've crossed 3 countries.
Yeah,
crazy.
Totally.
We need those bullet trains in Australia. 350 Ks. What was that?
I don't want to get into a giant sorry to neg out on the chat. I don't want to get into a huge infrastructure chat because otherwise I'll be ranting and raving about how they couldn't do a straight enough railway to get the train. We can't even max out the train speed that we have getting from Wollongong to Sydney because the track is so wavy to get around the mountains. Whereas if they just
would have fixed that
straight
problem,
from, which would probably be terrible for the environment, then we could actually get that bitch up to top speed. We'd be hitting the city in 45 minutes. That's why it's the same speed driving a car from Thirroul to Sydney as it is catching a train because the train's so goddamn wide. Anyway, we're not going to get into it. We're just all going to vote Angus, and I'll be pumping fucking sand, and I'll be straightening out the train lines. And I'll go down as a fucking demigod.
He's just going to cut straight through the mountain.
Clip that up.
A big hole out of
Australian
it. Put the track right through the middle.
Jacob.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's what I'm running in.
Clipped.
I'll get all the rich hippies on my side because I'll chop down the wind farm that's going in. Which again probably set back the local environment potentially 2 decades, but it's going to set me firmly in that seat of mayor for another 4 years.
Need it.
Right on. That's all that matters. That is all that matters. Can we get a push-pull run training update? How are y'all doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
You going first, Jake?
Look, these runs, I think may have peaked early with these runs, but yeah, took sort of half a week off. Went back in yesterday and fully fucking cooked it. The paces have gone down, but I'm still chugging along, I'd say. But towards the later end of the sets, it's more of a bit of a slug. Like I can feel like I'm running in quicksand, but it also may be the fact that I had still at 3 minutes 10 pace, which I really usually stuck at 3 minutes, so around 1 minute and 10, 400 meters. But it could also be the fact that I actually had a pretty big session on some shishas the night before with some mates. Just caught up with some mates, so maybe we can use
cut that out heading into push-pull run.
Yeah, we have to. No, just social health. Got to keep that up. But I haven't seen him in a while. But but apart from that, lifts are really good. Deadlifts are moving around quite well, and
you'll
bench is bench.
PB your push-pull subtotal for sure.
Yeah, bench is bench. So yeah, that's me.
I benched 80 kilos for a hard double this week. This is the worst my bench has been in recent memory. I think I can turn it around and I don't think I'll regress. I'm optimistic that I'll be able to bench decently in the powerlifting comp, but honestly, I'll be happy to just bench 100 kilos again, push, pull, run. And that's all I need to do as part of my plan, honestly. I haven't done any deadlifts yet in my prep, but my weightlifting, my pull is feeling amazingly strong. Like I feel like I could pull under 140 kilo clean any day of the week. I just wouldn't have a shot at standing up, but there's no squatting, push, pull, run. So who gives a fuck? And I did my first interval session this week, so I didn't do any
Nice.
really long runs. I just ran after the outdoor session for GPP. I did my acceleration work. I actually did it unresisted for the first time in ages, I think like 6 weeks or something like that. Then I did my stick runs, and then I just did 400-meter intervals. Oh, they were probably closer to 500. I just sort of estimated around my block. And it was sort of fartlecky. Like I just rested, just sort of based off feel, just let myself just get the pulse down just a little bit. Again, just by feel, not be completely fucked.
Vibes.
I felt like the pace was decent. Again, I didn't measure it. I was just like, because the main thing, honestly, I was just doing it for pain tolerance. Yeah.
Yeah. I
haven't done any prep since I ran a 400-meter that just like hurt. And that's the biggest, that's the hardest thing about the mile race. So yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good going into push pull run. I definitely need to see where my deadlift top end strength is at. So I'll pull a deadlift singlet sometime this week. Just work up to at least 200 kilos. If I'm feeling really good, I'll see how quick 220 moves, and then that'll give me a better idea of where my top end can be. But I'd be pretty surprised if I wasn't capable of a 240 kilo deadlift on the day. It just depends how well my run's going as far as to how much I need to squeeze out of that deadlift. Because honestly, I think 230 to 235 should be enough on the deadlift if I bench 100 and then run under a 520
Damn. Yeah. Sounds like a good plan. I also played around with some deadlift belts and smelling salts, some more powerlifting spec.
I feel like the belt definitely helps me a lot, like a big lever belt. I get nothing out of the smelling salts.
Yeah, the big lever belt, I was actually quite the opposite. I think I don't use it right. I almost munted during my set because like it just, I don't know, it dug through my fucking, my stomach somehow, like felt like I copped a liver punch. But no.
Did you put it on heaps tight?
Not really. I was like, yeah, like it was pretty solid. Like I could feel if I exhaled, like my entire rib cage was just getting pressurized. But no, those smelling salts, man, fuck, sent me. And I was like, I did 5, and under 10 seconds I did that set. It was fucked. I need to slow down.
Maybe you're in your head too much when you lift.
I think I am. Yeah. But yeah, I completed that set in under fucking 10 seconds. So I was like, holy shit, this thing's like crack. So
just got to return to monkey.
As the resident outsider here, what are smelling salts? Like, what is going on here?
It's ammonia, I believe. So it's the same stuff that they use on people who faint, like in movies and shit, when they like wave shit under their nose to bring them back. It's just like, I don't know, it's just like an uppercut to the nostrils. Like, is the only way I can describe it.
Just think about the perfect explanation I've come up with is if you were to accidentally snort a bunch of swimming pool water and you get that burning feeling in your brain, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's just like very like chlorine-y, stale piss.
But in a good way?
No.
Yeah. Well, for me, yeah. But I guess it's subjective, as you can see. But yeah.
Okay, but it just makes you like more alert or more.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like it's like a slap in the back, or just like, yeah.
That's what I mean. It's just vibes up the nose.
Yeah. I tell you what, I kind of have this like inbuilt, this is going to sound so weird. I swear, like I have this like inbuilt desire to just like smell things a lot of the time. Like I feel like if I like open something or whatever, I like almost have to like tell myself to not smell it as soon as I opened it. Anyway, I did it once with ammonia and just like took a big whiff of it. It was just like, I swear I felt like I had fucking holes in my brain for like 3 days. I was fully just like.
Wait, why did you have ammonia around?
Could use it for cleaning floors.
All right.
So you were like, I'm going to take a whiff of this.
Well, I don't know. I just like, I don't think I'd ever like opened it, or like, I don't know what happened. But one thing I thought, just my fucking natural impulse to smell it kicked in. I was like, wow.
So if you stumbled across the wrong cleaning cabinet, it's safe to say
you're fucked.
You'd be a dead man.
Well, I learned my lesson.
It's like 12 different bottles of noxious chemicals. And you're just like, one by one.
Well, that was it. I just like, I think I got like half a whiff in and was like, Jesus God, that is something else.
Yeah, it hit you hard.
Did you do one of these where you're like, where you sort of stood back a bit?
Well, you just went right crazy in? Now. Because like even if I like accidentally just smell, because it's so fucking strong, like even if you like put it in like a mop bucket or whatever and put a bit of water in it, like just the fumes, if you like take a little bit of them in just like by naturally breathing, even that fucking gets you a bit. Like,
It's pretty gnarly, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
Some crazy mess
maybe
going
just
down
need
at
to
the Harvey household.
Yeah.
But just quickly back to the push pull run prep for a sec. So I just edited the DGR episode that's coming out. Will be out when this one drops, I believe. And you guys, you asked them for some tips on the training for push pull run. So did it bring any? Did it bring any difference to the training camp? What are we feeling? Or is this advice useless?
It was
I did
it's
a bit
just
of
a PSA for everyone else because we're already onto the players.
Yeah, right.
I did try those da ones, which is the 2 left,
the
2
rhythmic
right.
one, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this is not bad.
I thought
I've done
that's something I'm going to toy with in the next block of GPP. Like, as in, we've literally done that drill, but I haven't thought about the rhythmic aspect of it in particular.
And I made him hoppy too, so I got my knee quite high. I don't know if you're supposed to do it that way, but I thought I needed some sort of this effective stimulus. But yeah,
cycle that leg.
So that was good. Thank you, David.
I actually thought the what you were saying about the rhythmic side of it, I actually thought that was really interesting, and I've fully got quite into that whole bit of the pod. I thought it was
Dave's a big timing.
You went into some gut.
I was going to say, David's being a big timing and rhythm guy. And he's influenced me to talk about it a lot because I think it's an aspect of movement in particular that a lot of S&C coaches just don't have good ways to interface with. But it's an important part of it, especially just getting outside of just purely weight room driven concepts.
Oh, big time. And big time.
He talked about the guts as well, I think. Was transferring or something. Got into the weeds of that too, which we love.
Well, even what he was saying about how he trains that walker and he was saying the thing about the ponytail and how it's basically visually the same as what your guts doing. It's I just thought even that was crazy interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a cool way to say it.
Yeah, walking seems like it'd be fucking terrible for you. I hate to sound like a fragilista. Oh, no SIBO alert. Someone, we need to make a no SIBO alarm. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like that's what I need. But what's everyone's Easter plans? I have absolutely none.
I was gigging in Newcastle last night and then drove home afterwards. And then I'm gigging tonight in MacArthur, just doing the old 3-hour situation. But I've never done it at this place before. It's a new venue. And then I'm gigging in Austin on Sunday. Because Easter weekend
is Easter. Is it a busy time for musos?
Yeah, well, it's busy anyway, just because everyone goes out. And it's funny because I was talking to Gus about this the other day. I was like, how closed is the place over Easter? It seems like Australia gets strangely, not strangely, but just uncharacteristically into Easter. You know what I mean?
Good Friday's crazy as in the religious adherence to it, and shutting your business down. But I did notice a lot more small businesses open today, which I was surprised by. Well, but yeah, happy about it because it always absolutely fucks me because I never prepare for shops to be closed.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of them close the second half of the day, or they close from 3 onwards, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, so but I don't know. But apart from anything else, because there's a lot of not public holidays, but because there's that kind of thing going on, places are just paying a bit more. So that's that way. It's kind of make hay while the sun shines situation. So yeah, so I'm kind of doing the double shift this weekend, but. Tell you what, I've been paying a lot of cover gigs, so I need to get that bank account happening again.
Got to get that shit back on your side.
Replenished. Oh yeah, that too.
Jacob, you got much going on for Easter?
So tomorrow I'm going to watch the AFL. The Bombers, they're up against St Kilda, so it should be a good game. I'm hopeful that we get the win. We got our captain back as well, so that should be good. And then on Sunday, just going to absolutely tear through some chocolate and some food. And then hopefully we can tee up sort of nicely a good lift on Monday, some bench or some deadlifts and get some weight on the bar there with all that extra calories in. So yeah, just going to pig out a bit, I guess. But yeah, looking forward to the game, actually. Haven't been to a live game in ages, so yeah, it should be sick.
Fucking
Parents
wait,
for
who's your team,
heartbreak or
Jacob?
the Bombers?
What was that?
Wait, they're Essendon, right?
Yeah. What do you mean?
They haven't been going well, like.
No. We absolutely suck. We haven't made a finals in 12 years. No, in a very long time. There's the running joke in the AFL how you compare everything to how long Essendon's been in a final. So yeah, hopefully we can do something this year. Fucking hell. I haven't seen much of success from my clubs. So yeah. Just got the worst pick with
my team in the
teams.
NRL. Were they good in your childhood at least, or not?
They were literally good. Like a couple months after I was born, which was when we won the grand final, and then as soon as I started to develop as a child, we got shit. Just been downhill ever since the drug saga.
School for me.
Yeah,
so that was all right.
Yeah, I've seen zero success. I've been alive for success, but haven't really seen it unless my dad held me up against the TV, which would have been nice for him to do. But yeah.
Do you want to talk Kamzat versus Whitaker?
Oh, yeah. So that got announced yesterday. Obviously, it's sort of week-old news by the time that this has come out, but obviously still relatively new news. Not the match the way I thought the matchups would go. I thought Whitaker would maybe be fighting Strickland next. So it sort of seems like Izzy for sure is going to get the next shot against DDP. I think a lot of people were sort of leaning that way and thinking that might happen. I think the UFC sort of telegraphed their intentions to do that. Anyway, getting off topic, I'm really excited for this matchup. I think Whitaker has a really good shot at winning. It's all just about, can he literally just survive by any means the first round? I think as long as he survives first round, he's not completely out of the woods. And then that first half of the second round, like if he's been rocked a couple of times, obviously there's still a chance things could go south from there. But if he can literally make it through the first 1.5 rounds, we're sweet. It's a pretty decent size because I think Whitaker's wrestling has become a little bit overrated, but he is decent at scrambling, which it pays to be good at scrambling with someone who's such a chain wrestler, the way Kamzat is. But yeah, I just think in terms of gas tank and in terms of overall just ability to formulate and follow a game plan, Whitaker has a really good chance.
With how stacked the division is, what happens after this fight with these two for the winner?
Most likely getting a title shot. It seems like Strickland might have to fight twice to get back into the title picture. A lot of people are sort of saying now. I don't think so necessarily, but there's no quick path back to the title, more due to the scheduling of the top 5 and the champ. Because the way it plays out, the only other available I think a lot of the top 5 is fully booked, but you've got DDP versus Adesanya. A lot of people are saying that that'll happen on the Perth event that just got announced. I don't know if that's one of the Sydney ones that we just gave to Perth, but we're still meant to get 3 huge pay-per-view events in Sydney. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But then I'd assume that the next challenger would be the winner of Whitaker versus Kamzat. Unless Stylebender wins and then Whitaker wins, in which case, you could do a trilogy with them. I was going to say, in which case, hypothetically, maybe they give DDP a rematch, but I don't think that that's necessary.
Or Strickland a rematch? I don't know.
No, sorry. If Whitaker, winner of Kamzat Whitaker is most likely getting a title shot.
Yeah.
There's 2-fight win streak in the top 5. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Whitaker, I just read an interview with Whitaker where that's what he said. He was like, this is way more than a fight. This is a title contender situation. That too. It's a 5-rounder. And the other thing about it, which interested me, was that it's the debut of UFC in Saudi.
And it's because it's absolutely stacked with Muslim talent.
That's what I was going to say.
There's that, what's his name? God, that striker who, he's got one eye.
Oh, I forgot his name.
Are you allowed?
Have you got the card up, Harvey? I was
surprised
by this. Apparently so. I'm not sure if every commission will approve him. like a Magomed Sharapov. I can't remember what his first name is. Can someone bring the Saudi card up? Because I might be getting my wires crossed here between that and another event. Because the Saudi card in of itself, it's not a pay-per-view event, but it's a marquee event. One, because it's in Saudi Arabia, but it's also being broadcast on ABC, which doesn't happen too often. I have no idea why it's happening there instead of ESPN, but apparently that's another reason why they're stacking the card. It might not be. Go on.
According to Google, the only thing on it is Kelvin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez. Officially.
Give me a second, because on Reddit, I saw something else. Just give me a sec. Okay, so what I've got. Actually, no, yeah, it's a stacked card, but it's not all the Muslim stars. It's actually
really
a bit of a mix. So, because obviously they're saving them for maybe the Abu Dhabi card with Islam whenever that happens. Anyway, but so the Saudi Arabia card that just got announced, we've got Whitaker versus Khamzat headlining in a 5-rounder. And then we've got Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov. I think this might also be a 5-rounder. I could be wrong on that.
What?
Then you've got Kelvin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez, Johnny Walker versus Volkan Ozdemir, and Shara Magomedov. This is this crazy kickboxer guy with one eye, and Ihor Poteria. So all crazy. Really exciting fights. I don't know. I have a feeling like Volkov has been in some very boring fights. Sergey's been the co-main could be boring if it goes past the first round, but everything else looks awesome.
We need a heavy knockout.
I hate to be that guy, but I kind of can't help but feel that like the UFC are somewhat like they obviously want Khamzat to win. Like Khamzat's like a big asset of theirs, and especially in Saudi, like you said, like the Muslim thing. I just feel like I don't know.
I don't know. UFC for sure wants Muslim stars for that audience because they enjoy those relations. Like they're productive countries to have relationships with the UFC, have events there and stuff like that. Have fans like this. How many Muslim people there are in the world? Like that's so much bigger than a country. But like there's so many upcoming guys like that. Like it'd be nice if Khamzat worked out, but if Robert Whitaker wins, Khamzat's for sure not done. You know what I mean? Like he's got plenty of time for a career, and it's probably the last chance to squeeze a lot of the biggest fights possible out of Whitaker because Whitaker is still a pretty big name. Like he's a former champ. It's huge fights for just the Oceania region. I think giving them a trilogy. Again, the only thing is then do you risk turning it into a fucking quadrilogy, which the UFC hasn't shied away from, especially when it comes to the flyweight divisions, fucking quadrilogy city. But things are interesting. Interesting card. What other fights of consequence? Like, will Pavlovich be fighting for a title anytime soon? I don't think so. If Volkov won, I don't think he'd get a title shot. Obviously, heavyweight title picture is absolutely cooked right now. Shout out John Jones. Shout out Ngannou. Kelvin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez. Daniel Rodriguez trying to get some momentum back. Kelvin Gastelum, who did he debut against? He only went back down to welterweight. Can you check Kelvin Gastelum's last fight? Because he did not look good. I was so excited about him coming down to welterweight. Again, the story about Kevin Gastelum is that he was a welterweight phenom who got forced up to middleweight because he kept missing weight. Not due to it looked due to discipline. Like he'd be weighing in with belly rolls, which for a professional fighter struggling to make anything under light heavyweight, like it's unacceptable. Like you just need to be leaner than that because you want to be packing as much muscle mass and just bring as much actual contractile into the fight. Yeah, Sean Brady. He should have peak Kelvin Gastelum would have absolutely dusted Sean Brady on the feet. And Kelvin's always been a solid grappler because this was the thing. When he got forced up to middleweight because he missed weight too much at welterweight, Dana White threw him to the fucking dogs, made him fight Tim Kennedy, Vitor Belfort. Not that he's an insane wrestler towards the back end of his career, but just made him fight some really big guys. And Kelvin always did well in the grappling exchanges. He came the closest to beating Izzy up until Strickland actually fucking did it. And again, everyone was seeing his performances at middleweight being like, oh my God, this guy's realized his potential. If you can just realize his dieting potential, he'll for sure be welterweight champ. And again, we saw a bit of a decline on his last 2 fights at middleweight. So it wasn't it's time to move to welterweight, arguably not forced into it, but sort of, things weren't going well. He needed change, but I still thought maybe he had huge potential. But yeah, sorry for going on the rant about Gastelum, but I'm just a bit disappointed. Like,
does he hold a special place somehow for you or nah? Like you really,
yeah, because it was just crazy seeing a smaller guy like that. Like we all sort of understood why he was getting the matchups that he was at middleweight. Like Dana White was just throwing him, like I said, to like the biggest dudes in the division, like all the oversized middleweights, and Kelvin just kept crushing him. It was insane.
Yeah.
I think that as well. Threat at middleweight.
I think Kelvin kind of became that guy who like almost got this like slightly mythical like legendary status because people kept using his name whenever people came up against Izzy, and like people kept being like, I saw what Kelvin did to him, I can do that and more. Or, like, I think Kelvin's style is similar to mine, or like they almost felt like there was half a blueprint there for, even if he didn't beat Izzy, there was like half a blueprint there for how to approach a fight with Izzy.
And it was the mixture of like, obviously had skills, had the dog in him, also had a sick chin.
Yeah.
Crazy chin. Had finishing abilities. Anyway, I don't know. Like he could beat D-Rod, but I would need to see some pretty wild shit to become a Kelvin Gastelum believer again. Because still apparently on a mission for gold.
Yeah. Well, that's it. He never seems to shy away from a fight. Like he's always kicking about. Like kind of similar to I'm always not saying the same, but kind of similar to Gilbert Burns in that sense, where like, like just always seems to be fighting someone, and like always like a serious name in the division. Like obviously, I rate Gilbert Burns higher than Kelvin Gastelum, but like similarly, like might lose a fight, might win the next one, and then
get offered many easy fights. Just gets back on the horse every time, and doesn't lose many consecutive fights.
Yeah, 100%. And in that way, we're like, you never know. If you keep doing that, you might just land yourself in a kind of right place, right time situation if you come off a win at the right time. Like, I think Kelvin need to do a little bit more than that at this stage, but yeah, you never know.
Yeah,
you never know.
If you're not a promotionally favored fighter, but you've managed to get into the top 10, it's honestly, I see the argument to just... No, sorry. There's such a strong argument to staying highly active because just due to scheduling and last minute injuries and stuff like that, when they're caught in a pinch, when they need a headliner, they just need to be able to justify. And the smallest justification that will get you over the hurdle into a last minute title shot is, are you in the top 10 and are you coming off a recent win? Doesn't need to be even 2 wins. Sean Strickland, 1 fight win streak.
Totally. Yeah. It's fucking crazy the way it happens.
To a guy who was outside the top 10. I think he was number 12.
Yeah, who did he beat?
It was some German/Russian dude that everyone was really excited about. Bit of a hectic striker, but he just keeps gassing out. So he's fought against since his loss to Strickland. Did the exact same thing. Just comes out swinging for the fucking fences and looks pretty dangerous. Throws crazy kicks and spinning shit, but then just inevitably gasses. And his opponents just put it on him in these horrific losses, because losses always look so brutal when the guy just gasses, can't do anything to fight back, and there's just such a distinctive shift in the fight, like just hitting a brick wall in terms of his aerobic capacity. I can't remember the bloke's name, but he'll probably be cut in his next loss when he there you go. Abuse, what are you doing to me? His fight versus Strickland was like very entertaining because Strickland really took his time finishing him. Like he was absolutely playing with his food out there. It was more that he was like, I don't need to take any risks here and I'm still going to get this finish. But fuck, it felt like the finishing sequence went on for 2 minutes.
Round 2, yeah.
Like just being one punch away. Like it looks like he was close to finishing in the first like 40 seconds of the second round, but then, yeah. Middleweight, UFC, I don't know, things are moving in most divisions. A couple of divisions where things are pretty stalled out, heavyweight being one of them, but don't need to necessarily get into it. Let's have a look at this Aussie 16-year-old. So he's run a world lead for under 18s in the 100 meters. Looking at the guy, I'm going to make an assumption that he's built better for the 200. maybe, but yeah, he just fucking hell. There's no way he's not going to benefit from two. And he broke the Australian under 20s 200 meter record a couple of months ago. But yeah, so he's run it. What's his name actually? He's run 10-2.
His name is
10-8, I think.
Good.
Just shout out his IG handle. That's how people find him anyway.
At good.gut. JOGOUT.GOUTT. All right.
And like people in the comments are shitting on his start, and I mean, I guess that's the thing. Relative to the back end of his race, his start looks dog shit. I don't think it's actually that bad. Like I said, it's just that the back end, and like look at his frame. Tell me you don't see the potential.
This guy's top speed is absolutely fucked. Look, he's still got.
We just got to keep him healthy.
And then all the comments are, "That's a 200 run if I've ever seen one." Imagine if you knew how to start. That's 5,000 likes.
But that's what I'm like. How good can you expect the start to be? You know what I mean?
And
like you can't
here.
at all.
I swear there is multiple high schools in Texas running low 10-2s.
There's not. They're all over 18. I think there's one.
Mate.
He's 16 as well.
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, true.
Like, I just can't, like, look at the back end of it. Oh.
What do you think of his start? His start's actually not that bad.
It's good. Like, how fast do you expect a guy with limbs like that to be turning over in his first 3 steps? Like, you have to. I swear people don't know what building momentum looks like, because people say the same thing about Bolt's starts. You know how Bolt has a reputation for being a bad starter? He's not a bad starter. Still absolutely world class. Again, is he better at the back end of the race? Absolutely. But again, based on his limb lengths, how fast do you really expect him to start turning over? And at the end of the day, top speed seems to be the key metric for 100 meters. So absolutely phenomenal performance, and can't wait to see more from him. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show today. Remember, if you want a 7-day trial of GPP, or if you're interested in any of our programs, or you want to buy yourself a Training Variously shirt, head to the show notes. Also, the early bird intake for Mentorship 12 is probably over at the time this episode gets posted, but still plenty of time to get yourself signed up for Mentorship 12, which kicks off in early May. I'll talk to you guys next week. Got some great guests coming.